Hello and welcome to Lad Reviews. I'm Marcus J. Richardson and today we are reviewing a documentary series which is called The Vietnam War by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick. Ken Burns has done many documentaries, but they've got a couple of things they've done together. There's one called Prohibition. I've actually done another review of Prohibition which you can check out. Anyway, The Vietnam War. Wow. Firstly, this is graphic. It's harrowing. You know, some of these images are very disturbing. If you have a weak stomach, you probably can't watch this. This is war on camera. A lot of the rules of war weren't necessarily kept.
What do you mean, rules of war?
Well, there's rules in war. Even though they're baddies, you can only really do certain things. So if you capture someone, you know, you don't just kill them. Certain laws in being a prisoner of war and things like that, and those things weren't adhered to.
I feel like I'm a prisoner of war in your head.
No one's stopping you from leaving, Jeff. People are probably watching this now thinking, I've been to war, and you're there having an argument with yourself. I know, it's weird. Some people fight wars, some people make shit videos. One major thing that I've learned from this documentary is that how it changed America as a country and its people. Before this war happened, the American people saw America as the country that swooped in and saved the day, you know, like in World War II and many other conflicts in recent times at that time. So there has to be an enemy, and the enemy at this point is communism. But America liked to get rid of countries who've colonized places, and Vietnam was originally colonized by the French, which is a fascinating story I won't go into, but again, worth looking at. This series it's a great history lesson. If you do like history, booyah, this will be right up your strasser. But you know, there's a lot of things in it that do make you look at the current present day and think, hang on a minute, we're making all of these same mistakes again. People say,
we'll never make the mistakes of the Vietnam War.
Well, we are. The Americans are. We are. Syria is a proxy war. Syria and its leader and Islam are the current enemy. And guess who's helping them? The Russians. But in that time, it was communism and technically Russia and the Cold War. They were the enemy, but Vietnam was the place the battle was going on, a bit like Syria. Syria aren't the enemy really, Islam and ISIS are, let's say, but in Vietnam, were the Vietnamese really the enemies of the Americans? It was just a ridiculous battle that the Americans were never gonna win. And the worst thing about it, pretty much every president that was in power knew that was the case. What we're not learning is that we put these individuals in power to make these decisions, and they're just human beings like you and me. You know, imagine having that power. Like, it's a difficult decision you've got to make, and
somebody has to make it.
No, they don't. It's bollocks. And we're in trouble because we've got these individuals like Theresa May, Donald Trump, or back in those days, you know, you had Nixon and other idiots making these decisions, continuing the war, continuing to send people to their deaths. We can't be doing this. That's what the UN is there for. But when you have the Americans and the Allied forces like they did in Iraq,
You need to rein it in a little bit, man.
it's important.
I know, but this is supposed to be like a cheery film review, and it's not cheery, man. This is getting like deep.
Alright. It's a very important part of modern history, and I think everybody should watch it for that, really, even if it was a little bit boring. But it isn't boring. This is unbelievably interesting. It's fascinating, you know, first-hand accounts from people giving interviews about what they saw and then video content backing it up. It's phenomenal. I can't recommend this highly enough. Well, I could give it 5 stars. I'm going to give it 4.5 because it is almost a little bit too much at times. It's a little bit like... Take a deep breath and have a drink of water before you go to bed. I mean, I watched probably 4 hours a night for 3 or 4 nights. Each episode is feature length. It is very long. Binge watching it is not good for the mind.
I'm not gonna lie, I actually also dreamed weird things.
You're trying to tell me you're dreaming now?
Yeah.
Cool. Nobody really believes when the shit's hitting the fan that their government is going to be corrupt and doing these mad and crazy things. I say nobody, there is always a small minority, but on the whole, most people think, oh, government wouldn't do that. They are. They are doing that on the regular. They don't care about you. Every country has some form of corruption going on or things that are hidden from the public.
It's for their own benefit.
It's not for our own benefit. Tell us the truth, man. We need to know. At the end of the day, again, we're just human beings. But human beings do bad shit. Just because they're in a position of power doesn't mean they don't do bad shit. People didn't think they were doing bad shit then, but trust me, they were. That is The Vietnam War by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick. Fantastic documentary series. Go and watch it. I've been Marcus J. Richardson. Sorry about the politicism. You know me, I'm a bit of a lefty for anyone that does kind of follow my other social media shit.
You're rambling.
Alright. Anyway, thanks for watching. I've been Marcus J. Richardson. Until next time, peace.